When I was 9 years old, I lost my father. He was in a decline before he passed away. He was an alcoholic, he was very violent, and he taught me a lot of bad behaviours, very aggressive. I got kicked out many times.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting permanently excluded when I was 10, a year after that. My mother seen an advert in the newspaper for helping naughty children. They're going to do a documentary where we get the naughtiest kids in England, we put them in a classroom together, crazy concept. So when I was 9 years old, I lost my father, and my father was in a decline before he passed away. He was an alcoholic, he was very violent, and he taught me a lot of bad behaviors, very aggressive. So after he passed, that sent me in a downward spiral. I didn't know how to control myself. Being so young, I didn't know what was wrong with me. All I knew was I had a lot of pain and a lot of anger in my mind. And this led me to be very misbehaved in school. I got kicked out many times.
Yeah.
And then I ended up getting permanently excluded when I was 10, a year after my dad died. So after I got permanently excluded, I went to another school, and my mother seen an advert in the newspaper for helping naughty children. They're going to do a documentary where we get the naughtiest kids in England, we put them in a classroom together, crazy concept, with a teacher called Mr. Drill, who'd done a TV show previously called Educating Essex. I did the TV show, and they wanted to reform me, change the way I thought, and it did work to some degree. And after the TV show was aired, when I was 12 years of age, I got invited onto Good Morning Britain.
Okay.
And on Good Morning Britain, they labelled me Britain's naughtiest kid. Okay. I don't know where they got the scoreboard from, but I'll take that. I'll take that. And a little bit of an unfair, harsh thing to call a 12-year-old who's just lost his dad. But it is what it is. The name stuck with me. And now that I am in the position I'm in today, it's good for people who also had similar struggles to me, who didn't quite get understood as a kid, to realize, okay, you can come back from that. You can be successful.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So tell me about that. How did it influence you having that brand over your head?
Okay. So I believe that if we're told something over and over again, we're going to believe it, which means that my belief system at the time, not only from the programming my dad gave me, but the way I was treated by everybody else, you're the Britain's naughtiest kid, you're Britain's naughtiest kid, Britain's naughtiest kid, that reaffirmed to me, okay, I'm a bad kid.
Yeah.
So because my belief system was that way, I acted in alignment with that, which means that I'd attract results such as getting kicked out, fighting in school as a result of that belief system. So I'd say the only way being labeled that influenced me was my self-concept and my self-image, meaning I believed there was that, when in reality, you know, I had to just strip down some layers, get rid of some behaviors, and then, you know, the real me came out.
I know you've been to jail, about that struggle, that epiphany moment that suddenly, right, I want to make a change now.
The way I like to look at it is if you're at war. Okay, so a war is fought in big battles. And in the big battles, there's small mini battles. Look at D-Day, for example. The Americans stormed the beach, and so did the British, on loads of different parts of the beach. Meaning you've got to win loads of big battles to win the war. So it wasn't necessarily one specific moment, but I'd say there was a lot of things in my life that anchored me, such as meeting successful people, learning about Bob Proctor, learning and reading books that made me realize, okay, this is who Tom wants to become. This is what Tom wants to create for himself. And I'd say, actually, there is one specific moment that made me realize, okay, now I need to do something. And that's when I got locked up in jail at 19 years of age. When I was on the bus from court, going to jail, and I was with all the other lads who had committed these crimes, and they were speaking and they were bragging about the crimes, the stuff that they're doing on the streets, talking the slang. And at that point, I thought, nah, this ain't me. This ain't cool. They think this is funny. I don't think this is funny. No, this ain't me. I need to do something about my situation.
Beautiful. How old was he then, did you say?
When I first went to jail, I was 19. That was my first time in jail.
Got it. So leading up all through that moment when you was on the TV program, that was the the first
Yeah, that
moment?
was it wasn't the first, because before I went to jail, I was reading self-development books.
So you still had it in you?
I still had it in me, but I was implementing it into the wrong areas. Plus, I was being influenced by my environment subconsciously that I didn't know. Plus, my network and my 5 closest friends were doing illegal stuff. So I was just became a product of that without consciously knowing, okay, you are a product of your environment, which led to behaviors and getting up to no good in rooms that I shouldn't, not I shouldn't be in, that I didn't want to be in, now that I understand where I am now. And yeah, I'd say that when I first went to jail, it was a big moment, because I realized, okay, now I understand I'm a product of environment. How can I make sure that jail serves me and doesn't push me into a negative lifestyle again? And that's when I started to understand my thoughts, because you're in solitary a lot of the time. You are alone, which means you've got a lot of time to reflect. And it also means I've got a lot of time to study, which means I've got a lot of time to replace old beliefs, learn new subjects. And
what are some of the philosophies you would pass on to your younger self?
the more pain you go through, the better you'll understand who you want to become. And the reason I say that is because when effort meets resistance, you find out a lot about yourself. And Carl Jung says, the unconscious will rule your life until you make it conscious, or something like that. It's not, I don't know if it's exactly that. I know. The unconscious will rule your life until you make it conscious, and you'll call it fate.
Yeah.
So when I started to understand that, I understand, okay, just more pain, more effort, just get better.
Sorry, say that again.
The more
effort, pain, more effort,
and you'll get better.
Beautiful.
And you'll understand about yourself. I think that's what it is. It's resistance. It's the idea of, okay, for example, sometimes we don't want to wake up early. The idea on paper of waking up early isn't a tough topic, but the emotional connection with the paradigm and the belief system and being tired in a physiological sense, those combined mean you're in a state of resistance. So resistance plus effort equals growth. That's my philosophy. And for anybody who's young out there, anybody who isn't quite up to scratch with who they are, just go through more pain. Go through more pain, do more stuff that makes you uncomfortable. And that's what I'd recommend to anybody. Any young man, and I'm still young, I'm 22 by the way, any man at all, just go through more pain and you'll find out more about yourself and you'll become a better person as a result of it.
How do you sell that pain of, because a lot of people look at it and go, that's no way. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like to sell it as like when you go to the gym, you put your body through pain to grow. So do the same and appreciate all the obstacles, all the challenges in your life that you can harness them to build, or you can stay down and let them hold you down.
Okay, so the way I'd sell pain is, what you want to do is you want to get on a PowerPoint and you want to write down the life that you want, the life that you're absolutely terrified of living. For example, living at your mum's for the rest of your life, being fat and being broke.
Yes.
Underneath the life that you don't want, you need to write down all the things that are painful in your life, such as learning new skills, sitting down, reading a book, starting the business, going up to that girl and speaking to her, starting that podcast. And you need to realize, unless you do all these things that make you uncomfortable, this is what you are going to be in for the rest of your life. And I think that visual intensity, and I think because we don't want that, we are motivated to move towards it. I think that although we can have vision boards and stuff to stimulate us, if we have something in front of us that we do not want 100%, we're going to act on it, because humans act out of 2 things: to gain something or the fear of missing out. And I think that if you're not already 100% motivated on what you do want, let's have a look at what you don't want, and then let's see how you behave.
Beautiful. That's a massive gem. Thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
Beautiful. So tell me a little bit about like what you do now.
Okay, so at the moment, I have got a online business where I teach young men and men in general. I've got people older than me in the business, where I teach them about just simple self-development stuff. We introduce the trading, we introduce the education for trading. We've got mentors, we've got public events, we've got live calls in the week, we've got signals, we've got a whole system that supports people to start making money online. So then they've got money to invest back into themselves and other areas of online business, which I highly promote because that's the way the world's going.
Yeah.
And I've also got a wine company here in Thailand where I import wine from Australia and sell to 5-star hotels and 5-star restaurants, as well as nightclubs and golf courses.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
I'm so proud of you, Tom.
Thank
Honestly.
you, guys.
So I met Tom about a year and a half ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've met Tom about a year and a half ago, and like he's just come on leaps and bounds, and I feel his energy and enthusiasm to develop, and that's the key thing why we like continually to keep contact with each other, because I have that passion as well.
Absolutely.
So that's a beautiful thing. Tell me about some of your most challenging times of your life.
I'd say moving to Thailand.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
Because when I was in England, I was in a state of survival, which means that obviously on the Maslow's hierarchy of needs, I didn't even have my basics. Do you know what I mean? I had shelter and I had very basic stuff, but I had this dream that I was going to come to Thailand. I was walking on the beach with a coconut. Everyone's smiling. Life's amazing.
Yeah.
And I think that once I fulfilled that drive vacuum of what I wanted to do all my life, I wanted to come to Thailand, become a Muay Thai fighter.
Yeah.
Once I fulfilled that drive vacuum, I really experienced pain because there was just this black hole then. Because then you had, once you fulfill your drive vacuum, such as getting rich or achieving a specific goal that you just held on a pedestal, you're sort of lost with where do I go next? So you have to go down to come up, essentially. And I'd say that moving to Thailand and the year that's just gone, 2024, was probably the hardest year of my life.
Really?
Because I fulfilled what I wanted. But I'm very good at putting on a brave face. I mean, I've been to jail. You know, I've had all this stuff going on in my life that I'm used to it now.
Yeah.
But say from a pain standpoint, last year was incredibly tough, I'd say. Because I fulfilled that drive vacuum of coming to Thailand and becoming a fighter and starting businesses and whatnot, yeah.
What are some of the things that helped you overcome?
Work.
Work.
There's only one thing you can do, in my opinion, when you're down, and that's work. Because at the end of the year, your how you did the year is not gonna show up in one emotion, but it will show up in work rate. And you're either gonna be proud of the year that you did or you're not.
Everything's happened for a reason. Yeah, there is a reason.
Cause and effect.
What is the reason?
Yeah.
What is the reason? Yeah. Not just everything's happened for a reason. Let's be blasé about it.
Yeah.
Let's sweep it under the rug. What is that reason?
It's cause and effect. I think that a lot of people use the fact that everything's going to be okay or everything happens for a reason or God's got this massive grand plan for me and he's pulling me for this to get to where I need to be because he's got this massive palace for me. I think that's a load of bullshit. I think they say that because it's cope. And a lot of people speak about the law of attraction. I see you've got your law of attraction book here, but if you don't fucking work relentlessly and disgustingly and have this incredible work ethic and be willing to unlearn habits, relearn old ones, change and audit your belief system, change your circle, invest into mentors, read books, buy programs, start businesses. If you're not willing to do that, this book don't mean nothing.
No.
Because the universe does not give you what you don't deserve.
Actions.
Yeah. Actions. The law of attract action. It's in front of you.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
So visualize the person that was in jail or was going to jail or was just come out of jail. What things would you pass on to them
so people who are currently in that position now?
To take them to that next level of life.
First of all, nobody cares about your problems and no one's coming to save you. So you either get on track or you be a number for the rest of your life in the system and go back to jail and keep committing crimes. The second one is every single spare penny that you've got, invest it into your education and invest it into spending time with people who have got better results than you. If that means being mentored by them or going for dinners with successful people. The third thing I tell them is be patient. Don't expect guaranteed results for the first 3 years. You know, I wouldn't say I'm lucky. I am where I am because I work for it. But don't expect results for the first 3 years of sacrifice and suffering because anybody who's in jail is in jail for a reason. It's because of the actions that led them there. I know people are, oh, it wasn't my fault, or wrong place, wrong time. You're there for a reason.
Not taking responsibility.
Not taking responsibility.
Yeah.
And the moment when I said there as well, no one's coming to save you in that. Like no one's coming to save you, and nobody cares if you just go off and do your thing for the rest of your life. And I'm not saying that to hurt their feelings. I'm doing that because that's how people think. I don't care about them if they want to go back to jail. I do care about them if they want to work on themselves and develop themselves. But if they show me through action that they don't actually want to develop themselves, I'll just let them carry on. So I watch people's feet, not their mouth, because actions speak louder than words at the end of the day. And I pulled myself out of it, and I know what it took. And unless somebody's willing to do that, I'll tell them, say, look, if you carry on this, the trajectory that you're on, look at a graph of the time scale that you're on now, you're going to end up back in this situation. You might not see it. You might not understand it, but just listen to my consciousness right now. Listen to my point of view. I've been where you've been and I've escaped that reality. I've escaped the system. So just take what I did so you can come away from it.